So I've made this video for students who may have questions about using AI like ChatGPT to complete college writing assignments and what the ethics are of that. Is this considered cheating? And the answer is complicated. It depends on how you use it. So the first thing I want to suggest is make sure you're checking your syllabus or your school's honor code, because anything that it says there might trump what I say here. But I will start out by saying there are some cases where I think you are solidly on ethical ground. So for example, if you wanted to write your instructor an email and ask them what you missed in class on Friday, or you'd ask for an extension on a paper, I don't see where there's any problem using ChatGPT to write that email for you to ensure that it sounds professional. As long as you're not being graded on that email, I don't see any problem with that. The AI can also sometimes provide feedback on your writing. If you plug in a couple of paragraphs and ask it to give you suggestions for improvement, that sounds like a pretty good use of AI in that case. Now, there are, on the other hand, definitely cases where using the AI would be considered cheating. So an obvious counterexample is if you have a discussion prompt from a teacher and you copy and paste that discussion prompt into the AI, and then it gives you a response, and then you copy and paste that and use that in your discussion. That's not ethical, right? It's not giving you the experience of learning, and it's not allowing your teacher to assess any skills or knowledge that you have. And that applies even if you've made a few little changes to it. You're like, let me change this word, this word. If you have used the AI to avoid doing the work rather than to help you do the work, then that's where you're running into these ethical problems, particularly in an educational scenario where you're supposed to be learning and being assessed on your skills and knowledge. So let's dig in a little bit more on that, right? So generally speaking, to tell if something is ethical in the educational standpoint, you want to put yourself in your teacher's shoes and ask, is using the AI in this way helping me learn the material that I'm supposed to be learning for this class? Is using the AI in this way still allowing me to be graded on my own skills and knowledge, right? For example, if you wanted to use the AI to give you ideas for how to get started or how to organize your paper, in most cases, that might be okay. You're just using it to help you get started. And we already use AI for things like editing and grammar, right? If you use a program like Grammarly or even the grammar suggestions in Google Docs, those are already AI based. But there may be some cases where the ethics are not as clear. If you're in a writing class and part of the assignment is to turn in an outline for your paper, and you ask ChatGPT to write that outline for you, then now you're being graded on that process, and using the AI to do that part of the assignment is, again, avoiding the work and not showing your own skills and knowledge. So that might not be okay. So it really depends on what the assignment is. And if you're not sure, you can ask your instructor to make sure that you're on solid ethical ground and following what they're wanting you to do. So it's hard to put yourself in the shoes of your teacher if you haven't personally been a teacher before. So some other ways that you can think about whether it's ethical to use AI in a certain scenario is, first off, ask yourself, do I feel like I wrote this? If you feel like you wrote it and you have that authorship over it, that's a good sign. You can ask yourself, well, if someone was to ask you questions about it, so you turn this into your teacher and your teacher says, well, why did you use this example in paragraph 3? Why did you phrase your thesis in this way? And your answer to those questions would be, I don't know, that's what the AI did. Then you're not on solid ethical ground, right? That's suggesting that you aren't the one who's in charge of the writing, that the AI is in charge. And another thing you can do is you can imagine that rather than a machine doing this work, if it was a human being doing this work, if you had your friend or your mom do this part of the assignment, would that be considered cheating? If it would be considered cheating if another person did it, then it's probably still cheating if the AI does it for you. Okay, so I'm sure that there are lots of scenarios that I didn't cover in this video. I tried to hit some of the most common use cases. If you can think of something that you wanted to dig into more, put that in the comments and we can have a discussion about it, okay? Best wishes.